What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today, reactions to the classics. We're going to be reacting to Heart for the first time on this channel, surprisingly, and we're actually going to be doing their top 10 songs. We had a top 10 list submitted by our big-time supporter, patron, friend of the channel here, Rich, has done a bunch of these top 10 lists for
Always
us.
fantastic, man.
With some of the greats of the 60s and 70s, man. You can check out our top 10 playlist and go through all the episodes we've done up to this point. And looking forward to Heart. Only know a couple songs on this list, the more famous tracks.
Sure, me too, actually, yeah.
And ready to see what Ann and Nancy Wilson got up in store for us today. And before we go into the quick facts and the list itself, if you would please give us a big thumbs up, that helps us out, and hit that big red subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our videos. And if you'd like to maybe do a top 10 list, song reaction, album review, check out our Patreon, a page which is going to be linked down below. Shout out to Rich and all the patrons who help keep reactions to the classics going, man. But before we get into the top 10 list, Rich did a little write-up, and we have some quick facts itself over Heart.
Yeah, Rich just said talented sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson finally got a much-deserved induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2013. They waited way too long, in my opinion. Should have been a no-brainer. And then in my research, just a little bit about Heart, just so you know. American rock band formed in 1970 in Seattle. It evolved from an existing band, White Heart. Since 1973, the vocalists for Heart have been sisters Ann, who sings lead vocals, flute, and guitar, and Nancy, vocals, guitar, and mandolin. Over Heart's history, it's had basically three primary lineups.
And they first found success when their members moved to Canada. Man, Canada always seems to be a jumping point for musical greatness. In part to avoid the draft, then later in the U.S. and ultimately worldwide. They disbanded in '98, but then got back together in 2002. And then in the summer of 2019, so just last year, Heart ended their acrimonious 2016 breakup by launching their quote Love Alive tour, and they sold 35 million records. Wow. Really solid, including 22.5 million in the US. Very impressive. And they have had top 10 albums on the Billboard 200 in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2010s. Man, 4 different decades. That always impresses me with that longevity. If you have that longevity through the decades, man, shows that you weren't just a flash in the pan. But anyways, man, we're gonna start this off with the only song here that isn't on Spotify. We're gonna go Dreamboat Annie from 1975, but we're gonna be using the version from The Essential Heart. The original is broken up into 2 parts, so we're gonna be going the Essential Heart version.
Yeah, and obviously the title track from their debut album, released as its 3rd single, went to 42 in the U.S. in 1976. The song had originally appeared as the B-side to Heart's debut single, Crazy on You, earlier that year, so it's weird that they released it as a B. And then there are 3 different versions of the song on the Dreamboat Annie album. Track 2 is Dreamboat Annie, parentheses, Fantasy Child's a minute 10. Track 5 is Dreamboat Annie, 202. And then the reprise, Dreamboat Annie, 350, and track 10. So the one from the Essential Heart's the one that that Rich said is the best one. The version on the single was 259, but it was actually around 240. I don't know why they did that. So that was an interesting thing. It's not included on the album. Billboard described this as a pretty and poetic song filled with dreamlike sea lyric imagery and backed by near classical folk guitar and banjo runs. It was very hard to get noticed. I mean, it is anytime, but back in the 70s especially, you didn't have all these tools. So when Billboard would mention you were doing anything, it was always a good thing. So I thought that was interesting to mention that. So all that to say, Trey?
Definitely, man. And we're not going to have the music in the YouTube video, as always, on our top 10s, just to avoid copyright and keep the length of these a little bit more manageable so they can get pushed out. So you can check out the full video, which will be linked below. Have the lyrics pulled up on our respective computers as well. And let's get going. Thank you again, Rich. Let's get some Dreamboat Annie cooking. All right, Dreamboat Annie coming in at number 10. Little cool version, as you could, I mean, I'm not familiar with what was on the record, but you could kind of tell where it was almost a tale of 2 songs. We're in the middle. We switched to where it got really quiet and then got to the more softer, almost folkier side.
Agree. Yeah, no, I liked it. Nice little atmosphere. I'd never heard this song.
No.
I thought I might have. I mean, the name sounded familiar. I guess it's just because the title of the album and, a little bit of an iconic album, knowing it was Heart's first album, but yeah.
And, I like that warm wind caresses her lover, it seems. Oh, Annie, Dreamboat Annie, Ship of Dreams. and going down the city sidewalk alone in the crowd. No one knows the lonely one whose head's in the clouds. Again, just kind of setting that imagery, that atmosphere.
Yeah.
A bit, a bit dreamy, love affair coming up in here. And so, I thought it was I'm more familiar with the kind of like, Barracuda, like rockin' type of track.
Yeah, me too.
So I enjoyed hearing the more kind of stripped back side of Heart, which I'm sure is going to pop up again in this list, man.
Seaside Rendezvous by Queen around the same time.
Yeah.
So that's what I was trying. I had to look it up, guys. I knew what album it was on the Night at the Opera. Boy, these two back to back get a little sea stuff. Yeah.
I like that. Good little tie in there. Now that's going to take us to number 9. As you can see at the bottom, we have Heartless, a 5-minute track here.
Heartless by Heart.
Yeah, I like that, man. From Magazine in 1977, issues with the band's previous record label, Mushroom, that's quite the name for a label, caused a delay in the album's release, and Heartless was released as a single 2 years later, went to 24 in the U.S.
The lyrics involve a scorned lover who apparently can't get away from the grasp of her heartless partner. The doctor said, "Come back again next week. I think that you need me." All she did was cry. She wanted to die, doctor. When can you see me? There's a guy out there. Seems like he's everywhere. It just ain't fair. So those are the lyrics we got to look forward to. Guys, Heartless, ladies, leaving.
Heartless coming in at number 9, man, bringing us in with that riff at the end.
I was gonna say, great guitar work right there. Great guitar work.
That'll just be in my head the whole time. But yeah, what'd you think of this one, Dad?
I liked it. The longer it went on, the more I liked it. I didn't know what I thought about it the first minute and a half. Like, this is okay. But the more it went on, the more it just sticks in your head. The Heartless.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the chorus there.
Yeah, really sticking. And, nice little lyrics, nice little biting lyrics.
It's really like a tale of two songs because, first 2.5 minutes was really like the song proper with the lyricism in there. And then we went into that kind of just let the bass shining there.
Yeah.
Got the oohing and on. We even had a bit of a synthesizer action, as you'd expect, kind of in that late 70s.
Yeah, we mentioned it during it. They had every instrument under the sun in here.
So, a bit of everything. Enjoyed that riff and instrumentation at the end. More rockin', kind of classic
Definitely.
Heart there, though. I enjoyed the first song, Dreamboat Annie, but I really like that one. And now we're gonna go to number 8 on the list, Even It Up. This went to number 33 in the U.S. is an up-tempo rock and roll number which lyrically is sung by a woman who is demanding that her lover, quote, even it up by reciprocating the effort that she has put forth in their relationship. I'm sensing a theme of these men that have
wronged him. Yeah,
that have wronged the Wilson,
man.
How are you gonna wrong the Wilson sisters, man? Come on. First Heart tune to utilize the Tower of Power horn section. All right, it's already piquing my interest.
It's from 1980, Baby, the Strange album.
We previewed it saying that Tower of Power horn section coming in, and it definitely did there, especially in the latter half of the song, man. Interplayed very nicely with that guitar, and just a great straight up rock and roll tune.
Yeah, it didn't disappoint, man. Yeah, the instrumentation was the star. I thought the vocals were nice. I mean, I don't know if it's one of my favorites. I figured you would probably like it with the horns and stuff. But I thought it was very well done and a sound that my limited Heart knowledge is the 80s stuff. I mean, I actually own one of the albums that a song of this comes off of later on. But I thought it was good.
And, it kind of fits that single sound that I think you would want. I enjoyed as well the lyricism. I guess it went to your head when you were hungry. I brought you breakfast in bed. And he ain't even it up. When your gal gives you breakfast in bed, man, you know that she's a keeper. And if you ain't even it up, come on, man. And I like the way that she was able to continue to just expound on that and just kind of show that this guy's a bum that needs to get his act together, essentially.
Yeah, and the firing part of it, well, a good man pays his debt, but you ain't paid yours yet. Ooh. It's time to even it up. So she just let you know in that little 4 lines what this thing is all about.
Yet again, very catchy chorus.
Yeah, very catchy.
It kind of has some.
The longer it went on, the more I liked it.
No, yeah, that might be a theme as we continue on through the list. And now we are going to go to track number 7. We have Dog and Butterfly from the record of the same name.
Yeah, it was released as the second single in 1978, 34 in the U.S. So, at this point, they're having success in the 30s and 40s. The last song, Even It Up, I think went to 33. So the song's a more subdued effort, different from past hard rock-oriented hits. as Ann and Nancy pull from their folk music influences. So I kind of gave it away. I guess this one's going to be a much slower one.
A little Dreamboat.
I've so far
Annie
known
action.
none of these songs.
No, me neither. So always fun to discover these. So number 7, let's get it. All right, Dog and Butterfly coming in at number 7 here, and definitely the most lyrically dense song that we've had.
Yes.
One of the deepest songs that we've had, and just even from Dreamboat Annie, which at the end had that kind of softer folk. This, from start to finish, was just a pretty arrangement and just a wonderful vocal performance.
I don't have much more to say. That the vocals are just tremendous. It shows it when they dial it back. I mean, she can really bring it. Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that's a theme so far is even on this, even though it's softer and more subdued, the chorus.
You're right.
Because I think usually it's Ann singing that Nancy comes in on that chorus and still empowers up those choruses and just really makes them stick in your head.
No, that's true. Gives them that
Dog and Butterfly.
that power, man. And I'm wondering too. This is just first listen. I'm wondering if the Dog and Butterfly. I'm assuming it's from the start. There I was with the old man, stranded again. So off I'd ran, a young world crashing around me. I had no possibilities of getting what I need. He looked at me and smiled, said, no, child, see the dog and butterfly up in the air. He liked to fly. So conversation between I'm assuming kind of a younger girl with her dad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Kind of what I'm getting from it. And then you kind of have just that image in your head of the dog and butterfly, the dog chasing the butterfly, maybe going around, and but she's able to kind of delve that out deeper into the track, just kind of maybe growing up and just a scary type of world and whatnot. She knows we're getting older, the world's getting colder. For the life of me, I don't know the reason why. Maybe it's living, making us give in. Hearts rolling in, taken back on the tide. We're balanced together, ocean upon the sky. So, again, just kind of has that sense of like growing up, trying to find yourself in the world.
Yeah.
Coming back to that theme of the dog and butterfly, man. One of the strongest, lyrical tunes I bet we're going to hear on this list. And now we're going to take it to Kick It Out from Little Queen in 1977.
It's written by Ann. It was released as the third and final single. This one went to 79, guys. It was a dogfight back in the day on that Billboard Hot 100, man.
And as opposed to a lot of these tracks, this one's only 2:45. So let's see what we got. I like that, man. They fill their songs to the very, very last second going in. And what were your thoughts on this? I like how on these lists, man, especially Rich, he kind of gives us a taste of every part of a group.
A different thing with Ann there, just a different vocal delivery, a little speaking sometimes, and then a little... kick it out.
Yeah.
I thought she's a wonderful vocalist, very versatile. I like this, very catchy, stuck in your head. What you got to have, you got a song that's 2 minutes 40 seconds. It needs to really hum, and you mentioned it goes right to the very end, and that's what you need to do in a song like this.
Yeah, man. Again, noticing. I mean, you mentioned this earlier. All the choruses and like pretty much every song we've had up to this part have been very catchy. Easy to learn as well, which I think also helps get it like ingrained in your brain.
And they didn't skimp on lyrics. There's a lot of lyrics for a song that's 2 minutes 40 seconds.
No, and I kind of like the message of this, almost carpe diem, just go live life, man. I mean, even from the start, out on the street, you better get home. Tail shaking, Philly running on her own. They say she got loose on the night she was born, cranking it up in a school
zone.
So just you get an image of a wild child going out here and going in, man. And I again enjoyed that guitar solo that we had towards the end of the track. Just a rocking number that makes you want to get up and kick it out.
Yeah, kick it out. She said, kick it out. Come on. Kick your motor and drive while you're still alive. Kick it out. That's the predominant theme through this. So I thought that was excellent.
And enjoy living while you're living, man.
Enjoy living. Now, Trey, that's going to take us to the top 5. And we're going to go to the first song that Sean knows. These Dreams from Heart in 1985. The first cassette, yes, boys and girls, cassette that Sean owned of Heart. I own this cassette. This thing was over like Rover. It had What About Love. It had Never, and it had this song. And I know Rich was trying to figure out which one to put on here. It was their third single, became their first song to hit #1 on the Hot 100. Actually written by Martin Page, who co-wrote We Built This City, who a lot of people hate, by Starship, and King of Wishful Thinking with Bernie Taupin, and of course, longtime collaborator of Elton John. They offered it to Stevie Nicks.
Rich knows I love me some Stevie Nicks,
who was interested, who had no interest in recording it. Heart had just recently signed with Capitol, always did their own songs, but liked this song and agreed to do it. Tell us about
the track is a power ballad with a more polished sound in comparison to their previous work, and was the first single in which Nancy performed lead instead of Ann, so quite a notable track on a lot of different fronts. According to the Billboard Book of Number Ones by Fred Bronson, when it came time for Wilson to record her vocals, she was suffering from a cold and somewhat sounded raspy, gravelly. After the song reached commercial success, producers reportedly wanted Wilson to recreate that on future recordings, and said, "Can't you just get sick again?" That's quite the story, man. Imagine that, your first big hit after all these years. I mean, I know they had hits, but your first number one, I should say.
And you can't recreate. That's why a lot of artists will never record when they're sick for that reason. They can't replicate it. The liner notes of this album state the track was dedicated to Wilson's good friend Sharon Hess, who died from leukemia shortly before it was released. So this is a great song, man.
All right, These Dreams, first song in our top 5 here, going in, man. That take you back, Sean, to being a teenager.
Well, let me tell you something, Trey. That absolutely transformed me back to being 14 years old. I freaking love this song. I remember jamming to this cassette. The hits on here going, man, these girls can rock. It's really weird because this is my first, exposure to Heart, and normally that's not a good thing. I'm sure same year, my first experience with Dire Straits was Money for Nothing. And so after that, I couldn't stand that song, got played to death. I couldn't stand Dire Straits until we started doing this channel and discovered their earlier stuff. Now I think they're fantastic. Same thing with Bowie, 1983, Let's Dance. Yeah. We discovered his earlier stuff. Got a bunch of reviews of his earlier stuff. My goodness, he was fantastic. It's the opposite here because this stuff, to me, is fantastic, but it's 80s. It's mid-80s. It's got a certain sound, Trey. So what do you think of it looking back?
Well, it definitely has that 80s sound with it. Got the synthesizer going in, this or that, but, just the drums that are a little different as well. But I dug what Nancy was delivering on her vocal performance. You had Ann in there at certain points, kind of
adding a little punch.
Yeah, going in the background with her as well. Which
are you scared to say you don't like it?
No, I liked it, man.
Okay,
I don't like it as much as you, but that's the first time I've heard it. But I still again, just going from the different type. We went from a nice quick rocker before, and then we had Dog and Butterfly, which is the folky, more acoustic side. Now we got this later on in their career, getting a taste of everything, and that's what I've enjoyed about this list. And it has an awkward, nostalgic kind of bent to it, just because it does have that 80s sound. You can just imagine stuff around in the setting and whatnot. Enjoyed the track too.
I can definitely imagine
it, especially at the end. The where is it at? Yeah, just the chorus. These dreams go on when I close my eyes. Every second of the night, I live another life. You can, whatever your life is, you can escape it in your dreams, man. She notes there's something out there I can't resist. I need to hide away from the pain. The sweetest song is Silence that I've ever heard. Funny how your feet and dreams never touch the earth. Again, great imagery too, just kind of building the scene a little bit. So yeah, man, definitely not going to have qualms with that being in the top 5. And speaking of Dog and Butterfly, we're going to take it now from 85, go back to 78 to the first single off of that record with Straight On. Went to 15 in the U.S., so pretty solid effort there.
Ann has called it the song. Called this song Heart's first, quote, dance song, which is likely indicative of its recording and release happening during the disco era of the late 70s. The lyrics use gambling metaphors to illustrate the protagonist heading straight on for her partner's love. That ought to be good.
All right, so number 4, Straight On. Man, and just as we said in the intro, definitely had that disco era type of sound to it.
Yeah, I think, Trey, if I heard it in 1978, I would have really liked it. Right now, I don't know, man. It would take a little while to grow on me. But I mean, it's of the time, and it needed to be. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, this one went maybe about a minute too long for me as well. I wish we would have gotten to the ending minute where it kind of, free, improv kind of
Which was kind of the thing when you want to make disco songs. People get out.
And then, that's a good point. It kind of lends well to that. But I do prefer the title track, Dog and Butterfly, which was,
that was excellent.
Kind of a total contrast to this one. All that to say, I mean, this still has definitely a catchy chorus.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was a fun song, I guess I'd say,
that's a good way to put it.
Fits its time, and pretty much saying I'm coming straight on for you. She noting that my heart keeps playing it through with you, my friend. I'll take my chances on you again and again. Probably some tension maybe in the relationship, or maybe an on again off again relationship that she's gonna keep coming straight on for this guy, and it had that characteristic heart catchy chorus there. But now we're gonna get to the first song on this list that I'm actually familiar with. We have Barracuda, one of Heart's most famous songs.
Yeah, I would say so too.
And this comes off of Little Queen, 1977, lead single of that record, and went to 11 in the U.S. And revealed in interviews that the song was about Heart's anger toward Mushroom Records popping up again here, who, as a publicity stunt,
this is horrible, man,
released a made-up story of an incestuous affair involving Anne and her sister Nancy. Wow.
It's unbelievable, man.
Goodness. I guess there was no lows that these companies wouldn't stoop to. The song particularly focuses on Anne's rage toward a male radio promoter who came up to her after a concert asking her how her, quote, lover was. She initially thought he was talking about her boyfriend, Michael Fisher, who was the band's manager. After he revealed he was talking about Nancy, Anne became outraged, went back to her hotel room, and wrote the original lyrics of this song. Wow.
Yeah, and producer Mike Flicker added that Mushroom Records was so obtuse in the contract negotiations that Hart decided to discard the album they were working on, Magazine, which the label still released in an unfinished form, and instead signed with the newly formed Portrait Records to make another record, Little Queen. In March of 2019, Nancy revealed that the guitar riff for Barracuda was inspired by the riff from Nazareth's cover of the Joni Mitchell song, This Flight Tonight. Wilson said, "We've been opening for a band called Nazareth in Europe and also for Queen." That's a nice little
one, two, yeah.
And Nazareth had a hit with the Joni Mitchell song that they covered in '73 called This Flight Tonight that kind of had that riff. So we kind of borrowed that and we made it into Barracuda, and we saw the guys from Nazareth later and they were kind of pissed. You took our riff. But I would say, you know what? You took Joni's.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what everybody did. You borrow from what you love and then you make it your own. It's one of those sounds too. It's one of those guitar tones that I'm still trying to figure out what we did. It's hard to recreate. So I just had all that because I thought there was a great backstory on this.
Oh.
An unfortunate backstory.
And this is one of those, I've heard a bunch, but I've never followed like the lyricism.
No, I have not either.
So looking forward to that. So let's get it. The galloping riff and drum beat ending us off on Barracuda Man, a legendary track for a reason.
Yeah, I always thought it was good, but now that I know what it's about, it wins a lot more to the lyrics.
That's one of the fun parts about music, man. You can hear a song a bunch of times, but then whenever you really dive into the backstory and follow along with the lyrics intently, it kind of hits you to another degree.
Oh yeah, especially with the horrible story about this.
Oh, definitely, and shout out to the guitar work on here by Roger Fisher on that lead guitar solos, a couple different points here. Some nice short and powerful solos here. I thought he did great. Thought the drumming was fantastic, and as always, man, the Wilson sisters killing it on this track. And now that we kind of know the backstory, I like and if the real thing don't do the trick, you better make up something quick.
Yeah.
So kind of like what we were talking about, maybe with the differing albums that they had to go in for. And I just liked, again, the biting nature to the track. That's kind of been a theme for a couple of the tunes here, which after what happened to them, I'd be coming in with they'd have to put that parental advisory down,
no joke,
down low, man. I know they didn't have that then, but man, maybe the Wilson sisters could have brought that in. But I mean, just a classic in every sense of the word. Definitely going to be in contention for me for my favorite tracks. Just love the heavy metal almost nature of it, and a little Zepp sounding at points, even little the intro, like you mentioned, Dad, a little Sabbath like. But that's going to take us now to our number 2 song here from Dreamboat Annie. Going back to that, we got Magic Man, 1975, second single from that album, and their first top 10 hit went to number 9 in the U.S.
Yeah, and sung from the viewpoint of a younger girl who's being seduced by an older man, referred to as Magic Man. Much to the chagrin of her mother, who calls and begs the girl to come home. In an interview, Anne revealed that the Magic Man was her then boyfriend, band manager, as you mentioned earlier, Michael Fisher. And that part of the song was an autobiographical tale of the beginnings of their relationship.
Oh, wow. And man, gotta shout out again the guitar work on here. The distortion kind of picked up throughout the song. We had a synth at the very end too, which I wasn't expecting, but kind of gave it a bit of a futuristic type of sound. What you think of this one, Dad?
Yeah, I thought the instrumentation was a star. You mentioned it during the song. Ann's vocal control was tremendous.
Yeah.
On this.
That young voice, man.
Yeah, that song for me was fine. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but I did appreciate the instrumentation and her control. I mean, I can recognize the genius that is in it for sure.
And lyrics kind of straightforward, what we had said before, man. And again, that catchiness with the last two lines, try to understand, I'm a magic man. And then just with the riff on top of that, that's kind of, it seems, Heart's bread and butter, getting a catchy chorus, put that with the great Wilson vocals,
yes.
and then come up with a riff, and you're on your way to a good hard rockin' heart tune here, man. And interestingly enough, as well, I'm diving into the song a little bit more, that their record or radio publicist would offer drugs and prostitutes to any DJ willing to play this song, so they could kind of get their name out there. But mid 70s, baby, I love it.
All goes, man.
And now we're going to go to the number one song, and if you're thinking where's this track, well, it was always going to be number one, ladies and gentlemen. We got Crazy on You from this same record. Went to 25 in Canada, 35 in the U.S., and yet it's become one of their most famous songs.
Yeah, it has. It starts with an acoustic intro called Silver Wheels. It turns into a fast-paced rock song that was the band's signature sound in their early years. It attracted attention both for the relatively unusual combination of an acoustic paired with an electric, and the fact that the acoustic guitarist was a woman, which was a rarity, and I think that's even an understatement in rock during the time. According to the co-writer and guitarist Nancy Wilson, the rapid acoustic rhythm part was inspired by the Moody Blues 1970 song Question.
And speaking of Moody Blues, man, be on the lookout. We're going to have a top 10 next month on that. But lyrics tell of a person's desire to forget all the problems of the world during one night of passion. During an interview, Anne revealed that the song was written in response to the stress caused by the Vietnam War and the social unrest in the U.S. in the early 70s, and they also in 2013 performed this track at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, their first performance together in over 30 years.
Which should tell you what they think of it.
Yeah.
That's a big statement.
Obviously know this track, love this track, so let's get to it, and then we'll get our favorite tunes afterwards. All right, Crazy on You coming in at number one, and for me, I think some bands, there's argument of what the definitive song is, or this or that. I think this is clearly the number one for Heart.
I do too.
I mean, I know some bigger Heart fans might have some deeper cuts, but I just think with the Nancy intro acoustic guitar, like, that's just so iconic. One of the better acoustic guitar intros that you're gonna hear in rock music, and then just the way it shifts, the powerful, catchy chorus, man. Just how timeless it sounds too, even to this day.
I agree. I don't have much else to add. I mean, I think it's absolutely number one. I think Rich did a really good job of ordering these.
No, and again, guitar playing was quite fantastic.
All of it, man. Anne sounds so great, so powerful.
Yeah, and I think showcasing off just that power along with the characteristic guitar work, man, on a broken record. And I like too that it can either be sung to like a love interest, or the world around you's going crazy. It kind of has that timeless quality to it, so that that I like that. Every time I think about it, I want to cry. With bombs and the devil, little kids keep coming, no way to breathe easy, no time to be young. And that's just the first verse, man. When you're starting something out like that you're in for a deep track, and definitely that's what we had here. And now that's going to take us to our favorite tracks of this list.
Yeah, for me, I have Dog and Butterfly. Of course, this song, Crazy on You.
Well, those would be two of mine as well.
And These Dreams. You knew I was going to kick it.
I knew.
Honorable mention to Dreamboat Annie, and, of course, Barracuda.
I'd give an honorable mention to Barracuda. I'm going to shout out Even It Up, man. And with the...
I like it.
Kind of, it had that horn horn section in there. A lot of strong tracks,
Definitely.
you know. So I want to shout out Rich for,
as always,
again,
did an awesome job.
Yeah, man, for bringing us this list. Definitely want to hear y'all's top 10s and favorite Heart songs and records down in the comment section below. And as I said, man, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button. Stick around for future top 10 lists. Got a lot of great classic groups coming up, man.
For sure.
As always, Dad, appreciate it. Appreciate
fun.
the research. Appreciate diving into some of the greatest women to ever pick up a guitar and rock and roll. And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.